Hey everyone, this is Christopher Brower here with Daily Motor, and today we're driving a 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLS 600 Maybach. This is a car I've been wanting to drive all year, and how appropriate is it that we are ending out 2021 actually driving this. We drove the BMW Alpina XB7 earlier this year, and that car was absolutely epic. So I was really itching to drive this to kind of make some comparisons and see what it was all about. This one's finished in a beautiful shade of blue. Got our Maybach wheels, Maybach on the center caps, Maybach badge here on the D pillar. Absolutely stunning. Badging on the back, GLS 600 and Maybach written out there on the left. It's even got a Maybach plate frame. Check that out. Lots of interior amenities in this car, but the first one I want to talk about is the champagne cooler. Now, this is a very cool feature that is very Mercedes-Benz Maybach-ish, right? You have a driver, you ride around in the back seat, you want your beverages to be cooled, but it does take up quite a bit of cargo space, and I left my backpack back here to kind of show you how much room it takes up. If you lay the backpack down, you could fit a couple in here, but Charlie picked me up from the airport in this car last week, and he already had a full-size suitcase in here because he was traveling as well, and I barely fit my carry-on back here, so a little bit of a cargo area issue, but I feel like this car is really not going to be used for carrying large amounts of things. Let's go ahead and step in the back seat of this thing. Actually, you know what? Let's start it up first so we can use our back seat amenities. So we have these steps that emerge from under the car. They're not visible unless they're down. And they're nice in the back when you're getting out. They're nice and wide. Nice area for you to put your foot. But in the front, they're slightly skinnier because the driver doesn't deserve to have a wide step. Let's start this thing up. We'll get to the front in just a minute, but I want to start in the back seat. All right. Use our wide step to get back here, where you'll find a massive third and fourth seat. We don't have a seat in the middle because it is occupied by this massive console with a tablet to control whatever you want to control back here, media, radio, comfort. You can control your different seat settings and stuff, your massages, all of the things like that, sun blinds. Yes. I'm Bluetoothing the sun blinds up. How neat is that? And we'll put them back down. Fantastic. So that's the use of this tablet here in the middle. On the backs of the seats, we have these beautiful Maybach logos with wood behind them and ambient lighting. We've got ambient lighting under the seats, on the door panels, and check this out. It goes all the way back around behind the seat, and we can control our seats from these switches on the doors just like any other Mercedes product, except we've got full settings back here. We've got memory settings, we've got all of these different controls. I can pop this leg rest up here, except on the driver's side it's not going to be much use because the driver's seat is not going to be able to go super far forwards. Cancel.
How can I help?
No, I didn't ask you to do anything, but thank you. Cancel. No.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Yes. Cancel. So we also have a Burmester sound system, and Charlie, if not already, will be making a video on that. There's now music playing. Didn't ask it to do that. Oh, car. The entire headliner is leather. This may be the first car I've ever seen a leather headliner in, but I guess if you have some sort of an accident, it wipes off easily. These are, of course, leather as well. Yes, okay, so the fridge, I've mentioned this earlier. Sorry, let me just move this pillow out of the way. You can open this like so, and it reveals places to hold champagne flutes. And then you open it again, and it's actually a champagne fridge. It's got little cutouts for bottles that you can put in there if you're on the way to an event. Of course, I don't encourage drinking, having open alcohol in a moving vehicle, but if you're on the way to an event and you want the champagne to be cold by the time you arrive, You can hold your champagne and you can hold your glasses here in this holder. What I find interesting is it has little spots down here to hold your champagne flutes. Put it down and it snaps it into place. So not really sure what they're thinking with that, but if you want to have champagne while you're on the road or something else, zesty drink in a champagne flute, you're able to hold those right there. We also have a couple different sizes of cup holder here that are heated and cooled. And look at that, it even lights up blue to let you know it's cooling and red to let you know it's heating. This can all be covered by this wood panel here, and of course we have our own climate control system right there. It's a really nice place to be back here. You can sprawl out. You've got pillows on the headrests. You've got these pillows that are branded Maybach. Check that out. They're even perforated on the back. Pretty neat stuff. This is the absolute most epic road trip vehicle I think I've ever sat in. I don't even know that the S-Class back seat held up to this, but that of course was an S580, not a Maybach. And this is what the Maybach is all about. Backseat comfort, and this car absolutely nails it with that. So let's go ahead, place my pillow back so we're even on both sides. Go up front, see what we've got up there, and then take this thing out for a drive on the daily motor test route. I feel like there's going to be paparazzi waiting for me when I get out of this thing. So, more Maybach badges up front. We've got it in writing here at the bottom of the steering wheel. We've got it on our handrest here for your infotainment pad. And if you can see that, we have it down there on the pedals as well. Pretty cool stuff. They don't want the driver to forget that they're driving a Maybach either. And we've even got it there on our digital instrument cluster, which is kind of just the Mercedes infotainment slash cluster that we have known for a little bit now. This car has not yet received that big update that the new generation S-Class has with the big vertical tablet here in the middle. This is still the current slash previous generation of Mercedes, and I don't mind it. I think everything works pretty well. Infotainment reacts very quickly. I've got wired Apple CarPlay. Unfortunately, we don't have wireless, which is a little bit strange. I'm sure the next generation of this car will, but you do have to plug your phone in, and my phone's a little bit too big to fit in here with the door to shut. So that's kind of irritating, but we'll gloss over that for now. The actual quality up here, dashboard, leather, very nice. Obviously, as I said, headliner, our A-pillar trim, that's all leather. The armrests on both sides are heated when you put your heated seat on. We've got massages up here. We've got the same seat controls that you saw in the back, and we have a dark wood trim that runs all the way up through the dash as well. I don't love the color, you know, black, it is what it is. It's nice, it's classy. But I think if they're going to do black interior, I would like to see some sort of a different wood trim in here. And I'm sure that's available. But in our specific car today, it's very dark in here. Black headliner, black everything. It's a little bit dark. But at least at night, it's brightened up by this beautiful ambient lighting. Mercedes is absolutely unbeatable when it comes to ambient lighting, and this car is a fantastic example of that. It's absolutely stunning. Not quite up to par with the S580 that we drove, but again, that car is a generation newer. And for what this is, I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, look at that back there. You can see it even in the daytime. This car's got a number of different drive modes. We control those here with this dial. Individual, which is your customizable mode, sport, comfort, Maybach mode, which is like a comfort plus, curve mode, which adjusts your air suspension when you're going around curves to make the car stay even, and off-road mode, which will lift this thing up. And of course, I'm sure you've all seen the videos of these cars driving down the strip in Miami, or Rodeo Drive in California, bouncing up and down. And at first I thought that was just some sort of a silly gimmick, but it's actually called recovery mode, and it's meant to get you out of sticky situations when you are off-roading. So if we go ahead and put this car into drive, you'll see I'm able to access my off-road assistant menu, which then allows me to go into recovery mode. I can hit start here, and it will bounce this thing up and down up to 9 miles per hour. But this is for if you're stuck like up to the wheel wells. All right, I gotta stop. Making me nauseous. If you're stuck up to the wheel wells or so in sand, this thing will bounce itself out. Super useful for being at the sand dunes, being overseas, where I'm sure a lot of these cars will be sold. An excellent feature that I would actually love to see in use. I've only seen videos of this car bouncing down Rodeo Drive, making people laugh. I've never actually seen one dig itself out, so I've got to go home and look that up now that I think about it. Apple CarPlay, it's all right. It fits the screen okay. Not a super long display, but it is at least big enough. It doesn't look like it's out of place there in the screen. All right, well, I think that covers most of the things up here. We're already probably at 10 minutes into this review just with an interior tour, and I'm sorry, I'll put a timestamp for you if you just want to see this thing drive. But here we go. Let's take this thing out on the road and see what it's like to drive. This is the first Maybach that I've ever driven. I have not driven a sedan Maybach, just this big boy. And of course, as you'd suspect, it is unbelievably smooth. I mean, especially when you're rolling in Maybach mode, which I was just driving in off-road mode. I should probably demonstrate this car at first here in Maybach mode. Lower my suspension. Yes, and it's just spritzed some perfume through the vents. So even though this car's main focus is being smooth, it still packs a punch when you put your foot down. This is powered by Mercedes' 4-liter bi-turbo V8, and in this car it produces 550 horsepower and 538 foot-pounds of torque, and that's sent to all 4 wheels. This thing is properly quick, and the air suspension means it handles quite nice as well. Let's go ahead and put this thing into sport mode. We do have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. And you put yourself into manual mode simply by selecting a paddle. Won't quite let you hit rev limiter, but it's a Maybach, so we don't expect it to do so. Back into drive just by pushing down on our shifter stalk here. And let's go back into comfort mode. This is the standard mode, the default. And everything settles down, and it's just overall very smooth. The seat itself, that's very comfortable, and of course that is aided by the ability to give yourself a massage. Lots of different settings there. Just your shoulders, just your back, just your lower back, heated, all sorts of things. And this person has just done a full stop on the ramp. I've never seen this before. Very, very strange, folks. I don't want to be mean and honk them and scare them. Luckily, there was nobody behind me. That's the first I've seen. That happen. Very, very strange. All right, let's select Maybach mode here for our rough road section. I want to have this thing in the smoothest setting before we embark on this bumpy section here. Yes. One of the smoothest. One of the smoothest so far. And some very smooth shifts as well from that 9-speed automatic. I will say they've done a great job just making everything in here very relaxing, very smooth. I never feel stressed driving this car, even though it is a 6-figure automobile. It's very relaxed in here. I think that that's really helped by the nice ambient lighting, the nice perfume that comes through the vents, the smoothness of the powertrain, the transmission, all of those things. The way everything clicks, all of the buttons feel nice, the way that turn signal is, even the shifter, our drive mode controls down here, everything feels very nice and solid. And it really is just a pleasure to drive this. I think the next generation of this car is going to be absolutely epic. After driving the S580, I will say I'm not as impressed as I thought I was going to be driving this thing, but just because it's still a generation old. That S580 is a totally new generation that feels like it's set 10 years in the future. And I would say this car feels very appropriate for present day. A little bit of noise there at 54 miles an hour from those snow tires. Nothing unexpected. Let's go ahead and try out curve mode. So this mode is supposed to eliminate any sort of body roll that you get. Oh yes. Curve mode working well there. No body roll around that corner. That's amazing. I wanted to test it out on this road because we've got plenty. Oh yes. Wow, that's weird. Seems to react very quickly. I would love to see what this looks like from the outside. That's fantastic. All right, back into Maybach mode here for the rest of the review. It's so cool, all of the tech that they put into these cars, and I think that that kind of excuses the hefty price tag. This Maybach GLS 600 is $175,000. And when you think of Maybachs of the past, Maybachs have been around in the USA, are really known for cars in the early 2000s, 2003-ish, like the Maybach 57 and 62, those big boat luxury sedans. Those were so expensive, and we're always known for just being staples in luxury. And this car follows that, but we no longer have only a Maybach badge. It's now Mercedes-Maybach. But I think it's cool that they kept that as a sub-brand, and it's nice to see it on this car. But like I said, all the tech, this crazy sound system, all the ambient lighting, recovery mode, curve mode, all that stuff, the red light camera, all the stuff like that. It's nice to see that you get all of those things for your $175,000 price tag. Also, all of the nice exterior touches, the grille, the wheels, the couple subtle Maybach badges. It's all really nice, and I like the way that they've done this car in sort of an understated manner. It doesn't yell at you and say, "Look at me, I'm a Maybach." It really just looks like a GLS, and really only enthusiasts would know that this is a Maybach. So I think that that's pretty cool that they've done it in such a way as that. Would I choose this or the Alpina? Well, I was totally blown away by that Alpina XB7. I think interior-wise, they're in a little bit of a different league. This car is set out really to be the ultimate chauffeur car, and it does a great job at being that. It makes the driver comfortable as well. In fact, all four passengers in this car would just be insanely comfortable at any given time. The Alpina, while it's a very comfortable car, it's not quite as comfortable as this Maybach. But I think overall, I still prefer the Alpina as a car. It's very shocking when you put your foot down. It's so fast. I think it looks really cool. I love the massive Alpina wheels, and I don't know, I think overall, just as an entire package, I would pick that Alpina, and it's very close. Don't get me wrong, I do really love this. They suit slightly different people, but I think the same person that's buying either car could be really happy with either. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to wrap up our review of this 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLS 600 Maybach. This has been quite an experience driving this car for a couple of days, getting a taste of Maybach ownership. I was also driven in this car, like I said, from the airport by Charlie, so I got to live that part of my Los Angeles celebrity fantasy as well. And this car has delivered in every category. I love the back seat, I love being driven in it, and I love driving it as well. I think it could use from a little bit of a mid-cycle refresh or a complete infotainment overhaul, just because I'm so spoiled from driving that S580. I mean, after driving that, it's just like nothing else compares. But if you take that car out of the equation, this thing is actually a very, very good car. And I think that I would drive one. But I'd have to work for like 10 years to be able to afford one. So maybe if I start saving now, by the time I'm 33, you'll see me driving around in a Maybach. Probably not. I'd rather have a 911 turbo. But anyways, let's do one last little walk around to this thing. Pretty cool stuff. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of the support that you gave Charlie and I in 2021. It's been an absolutely epic year, and we couldn't have done it without all of you guys supporting us. We just hit 20,000 subscribers, and that is absolutely amazing. So thank you again. This has been Christopher Brower with Daily Motor, And as always, drive on.